There's something special about playing in third person. You see the entire world around you, feel every step of the character, and follow everything happening up close. When this perspective combines with gripping stories and breathtaking combat, it's impossible to put the controller down. Today, you'll discover games that turn this view into an invitation for unforgettable adventures. Before we start, tell me in the comments which third-person game do you think everyone should play at least once in their life. And if you can, hit that subscribe button to help the channel grow. It might seem simple, but it makes a huge difference. No more waiting, let's get started. Opening the video, we have Ghost of Tsushima, which takes you to the Mongol invasion of 1274. You play as a samurai watching his homeland burn, forced to choose between the honor of the samurai code or becoming the feared ghost. The island's open world is stunning, filled with forests, scorched villages, and flower fields swaying in the wind. The map doesn't need arrows or complicated compasses. The wind itself guides your path. Every corner hides something, like haikus, shrines, or bamboo challenges. It's the kind of game where exploring becomes as addictive as fighting. Combat is intense and full of style. You switch between different sword stances to handle archers, spearmen, and swordsmen. Duels are electrifying, and once you master the techniques, every strike feels impactful. But the Ghost isn't all about brute force. Stealth, smoke bombs, and silent takedowns are part of Jin's transformation. And when you trigger Ghost stance, enemies fall with a single blow, creating epic moments that stick in your memory. Exploring the island isn't just beautiful, it's rewarding. Following foxes to shrines grants new charms, hot springs boost your health, and bamboo challenges test your speed. These details make every step feel worthwhile. Even stopping to compose haikus in stunning landscapes reinforces the connection to the story. Everything in the world seems to have a purpose, whether it's improving your skills or deepening the legend of the Ghost. The journey is packed with moments you'll want to talk about later. Climbing cliffs with a grappling hook, liberating occupied villages, and facing Mongol generals create a perfect mix of action and emotion. The game never leaves you idle. There's always something catching your attention, whether an epic battle or a hidden detail in the scenery. Ghost of Tsushima turns every minute into a memorable experience, and it's impossible not to get lost in its world. Now it's time to talk about Control, a game that starts mysteriously and hooks you with its suspense. You step into Jessie Faden's shoes as she enters the Federal Bureau of Control in search of her missing brother. But the building feels alive, twisting before your eyes, with corridors bending and rooms defying all logic. Within minutes, you realize you've entered a place where nothing makes sense, and everything wants you dead. The atmosphere is tense, filled with secrets and a weirdness that never lets you relax. Combat blends gunplay and telekinetic powers in a truly addictive way. The service weapon changes forms, acting as a pistol, shotgun, and more, no reloading needed. Meanwhile, Jessie hurls objects with her mind, creates shields of debris, and even levitates mid-battle. Each encounter turns into controlled chaos, enemies flying, walls breaking, and lights flickering amid the firefight. This mix of frantic action and supernatural abilities makes every battle thrilling. Exploring the Bureau feels like a game of its own. Elevators lead to secret sectors, rooms hide cursed objects, and scattered files tell bizarre stories that make you want to open every door. Side missions reveal unexpected paranormal threats, like fridges that kill if you don't look at them, or mazes that shift as you walk. You can't help but feel curious about what's waiting around the next corner. With every new power unlocked, the game encourages bolder moves. Suddenly, you're not just shooting, you're flying, smashing enemies together and blowing the environment apart. That feeling of absolute control turns every fight into a spectacle of destruction, and as the story unravels what's real or not, inside that cursed building, you realize you won't want to stop until every secret is uncovered. A Plague Tale: Requiem drags you into a medieval world ruled by fear, where war and plague walk hand in hand. Following two siblings struggling to survive in the chaos makes every step tense, as burned villages and desolate fields silently tell stories of despair. The ever-present swarms of rats turn every alley or ruin into a deadly threat. From the start, you feel that danger is never far away, and survival is unforgiving. Combat relies on stealth and improvisation. Your sling is the main tool used to distract guards or light torches to repel the sea of rats. When the swarm rises, it feels like the ground comes alive, devouring everything in its path. Knowing when to run, hide, or strike is the key to moving forward. Each encounter brings suffocating tension, making every small victory feel earned. Exploration is packed with details that make the world feel both alive and oppressive. Walking through narrow, rubble-filled streets, crossing crumbling fortresses, or sneaking through silent forests makes the tragedy feel real. Every corner might hide a way out, or a fatal trap. These quiet moments between the chases remind you that no one is safe and every step matters. As the story unfolds, the emotional weight grows alongside the danger. The siblings' decisions, the sacrifices they face, and the risks they take create a deep bond with their journey. When darkness feels absolute and the rats rule the land, finding even a spark of hope feels as precious as surviving. It's the kind of game that grabs your heart as much as your nerves, impossible to walk away from. Horizon Forbidden West opens the doors to a vast world where untamed nature and ancient technology collide in jaw-dropping landscapes. Every region feels alive, from dense forests to windswept deserts, all patrolled by massive machines. The sense of adventure is immediate, with each step promising discovery and danger. The game invites you to explore the ruins of a lost civilization while facing new mechanical threats dominating the Forbidden West. Combat is a perfect mix of strategy and action. Bows, slings, and spears can be combined with traps to bring down giant machines, requiring aim and patience to hit weak spots. Some creatures fly, others hunt in packs, and every encounter feels unique. The variety of weapons and special ammo keeps fights intense, and learning each machine's behavior turns the hunt into an addictive challenge. Exploring the world is as rewarding as facing its dangers. Hidden ruins hold caches and forgotten tech, while villages and outposts reveal more of the world's history. Climbing mountains, swimming in crystal-clear rivers, and trekking through jungles crawling with machines make every journey an adventure. The scenery constantly shifts, giving every new region the feel of an epic quest. As the story progresses, the world unveils increasingly powerful secrets. Facing larger machines, unlocking new abilities, and conquering dangerous territories keep the momentum high. It's the kind of game where hours slip by unnoticed because there's always another area to explore or machine to hunt. Horizon Forbidden West turns every minute into pure adventure. Star Wars Jedi Survivor throws you into a galaxy at war where every planet feels alive and full of stories. From desolate deserts to lush forests, each environment is packed with secrets, enemies, and hidden paths. The sense of adventure is constant as you master the Force and explore places blending ancient ruins with Imperial strongholds. You can feel the weight of the chase and the need to grow stronger with every step of the journey. Combat is intense and rewarding, combining lightsaber mastery with Force powers and smooth encounters. Every strike must be precise, whether dodging blaster fire, facing wild creatures, or parrying elite soldiers. The game lets you swap saber styles and even dual wield, creating cinematic battles. Each fight feels like a dance of precision, where reflexes and strategy decide victory. Exploration is a spectacle on its own. Planets feature alternate routes, hidden shortcuts, and environmental puzzles that require climbing, jumping, and creative use of the Force. Secrets scattered across maps reward curiosity with upgrades, cosmetics, and extra abilities. Finding a remote spot or solving a tricky puzzle brings that satisfying sense of discovery that makes you want to explore every inch of the galaxy. As the story advances, the challenges grow more thrilling and dangerous. New enemies emerge, your mastery of the Force deepens, and the game gives you freedom to face epic battles your way. Between high-speed chases and emotional discoveries, you get that feeling of never wanting to put the controller down. Star Wars Jedi Survivor delivers an adventure that hooks you from start to finish, making every victory feel legendary. Kena Bridge of Spirits takes you into a magical forest where every corner seems to breathe life and mystery. You play as Kena, a spirit guide helping lost souls find peace while exploring abandoned villages and ruins reclaimed by nature. The world is vibrant and detailed, with crystal-clear rivers, old wooden bridges, and trees hiding secrets. The adorable yet powerful Rot follow along, assisting in solving puzzles and overcoming obstacles. Combat blends magic with precision, as Kena's staff transforms into a bow for ranged attacks. Fighting corrupted spirits requires quick dodges and strategic use of the Rot, who can distract enemies or boost your strikes. Each victory brings upgrades and a real sense of growth. Exploring the map, collecting hidden items, and unlocking new areas keeps the adventure engaging from start to finish. The story is emotional, showing how pain and hope coexist in every spirit you encounter. Quiet moments, like watching the forest or playing with the Rot, contrast with intense battles against towering bosses. Every step feels like a discovery, and every scene reinforces the enchanting tone of the world. It's a game that captivates both with its beauty and the heart behind its narrative. As you progress, abilities combine in creative ways. Jumping, climbing, sprinting, and using magical attacks flow naturally, while the map constantly reveals new challenges. The blend of exploration, thrilling combat, and heartfelt moments makes Kena Bridge of Spirits an adventure that lingers in your memory. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice throws you into an intense dark journey, following Senua through a world inspired by Norse and Celtic mythology. Damp forests, deserted beaches, and ancient ruins create a setting that feels alive, both beautiful and terrifying. The game places you inside her mind, showing fears and hallucinations in striking ways. Every step is heavy, and every shadow might hide something dreadful. Combat is raw and brutal, with swords that feel heavy and real. Facing enemies demands attention to sound and movement, as fights rely on precise dodges and strikes. There's no excessive HUD or indicators, making battles more immersive and tense. Every clash feels like a fight for survival, and losing focus can mean the end of the journey. Exploration is slow and drenched in tension. Perspective-based puzzles force you to see the environment differently, while whispers guide and haunt you. Finding the correct path through illusions and darkness keeps suspense high. Each area reinforces the feeling of battling not only physical enemies, but also inner demons. Throughout the journey, moments of despair and relief alternate powerfully. Facing mythical giants, crossing unstable bridges, and uncovering hidden symbols create a progression that blends fear and fascination. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a game you feel rather than just play, and it stays with you long after the credits roll. Death Stranding 2 expands the strange, fascinating world of the first game, taking the journey across isolated landscapes to a whole new level. Deserts, shadowy beaches, and silent cities form a setting that feels desolate yet full of secrets. The sense of solitude is overwhelming, as every step across the terrain is a fight against harsh environments, unpredictable weather, and supernatural threats. Every delivery carries both physical and emotional weight. Gameplay revolves around exploration and connecting territories, balancing resources and planning routes. The terrain constantly challenges you with rivers, mountains, and storms that shift your pace. Building bridges, ropes, and roads is essential for survival, and completing a journey feels like a genuine achievement. Encounters with hostile humans and bizarre creatures keep every trip unpredictable and tense. The narrative is full of mystery and emotion, exploring the impact of human connection in a fractured world. Strange events like rain that accelerates time and ghostly apparitions make each chapter unpredictable. Tiny details in the environment and fleeting encounters deepen the feeling of being in a world that punishes distractions. As the story advances, new tools and vehicles expand your options. Areas once unreachable open up, and the sense of progress is constant. Death Stranding 2 turns even its quietest moments into lasting memories, blending tension, curiosity, and the sense of always being on the edge of something monumental. The Last of Us Part 2 throws you into a ruined world, where every step carries tension and uncertainty. Cities overtaken by nature, collapsing buildings, and silent streets tell the stories of those who didn't survive. Encounters with infected and hostile humans are brutal, forcing hard choices and showing the heavy cost of survival. The game alternates between suffocating quiet and sudden bursts of violence. Each environment feels like it holds a secret or a sad reminder of the world that was lost. Combat is visceral and adaptive. Progress demands stealth, improvisation, and courage, whether silently eliminating enemies or surviving desperate shootouts. Scarce resources make every bullet precious, and crafting improvised weapons can mean the difference between life and death. Realistic animations and brutal impacts heighten immersion, making you feel the weight of every decision in battle. Exploration isn't just about finding supplies, it's about uncovering fragments of personal stories. Diaries, photos, and letters create an emotional secondary narrative, showing that every abandoned place once had life. Empty homes, destroyed markets, and silent schools make the world feel alive, even in its decay. Every detail adds to the emotional weight of the journey. Along the way, every victory feels like it comes at a cost. Brief moments of calm between ambushes and chases keep tension high. This balance of danger, loss, and hope makes each step forward feel like an emotional decision, keeping you invested in every moment. Marvel's Spider-Man immediately launches you across New York's skyscrapers with electrifying freedom. Swinging between buildings is fluid, dynamic, and gives the sense that the entire city is within your reach. Every busy street, glowing alley, and massive bridge turns the map into an urban playground. The city feels alive and reacts to your actions, making simply crossing Manhattan an adventure in itself. Combat is fast and stylish, mixing acrobatics, melee attacks, and creative web use. Pulling enemies, disarming weapons, toppling objects, and performing aerial finishers make every fight unique. Iconic villains and street thugs alike demand focus, and large groups transform any block into an arena of cinematic combos. Between battles, the game invites you to explore every corner of the city. Hidden collectibles, combat challenges, and side missions keep the pace engaging. Small touches, like realistic traffic and pedestrians reacting to you, reinforce the feeling of living in a constantly moving city. As you unlock new suits and abilities, the sense of mastery grows. Soaring through skyscrapers at high speed after a string of intense battles is as satisfying as taking down a major boss. This mix of freedom, action, and urban rhythm makes it impossible to put the controller down. Nier Automata throws you into a devastated, melancholic, and enigmatic world, where the ruins of modern cities coexist with endless deserts and silent forests. Everything feels abandoned, yet there's a strange beauty in that solitude. The war between androids and machines sets the stage, and every mission makes you feel like something bigger is hidden behind each battle. The atmosphere is unique, always leaving a sense of mystery in the air. Combat is fast, fluid, and stylish, switching between swords, gunfire, and acrobatics. Enemies range from small robots to massive mechanical colossi that demand constant attention. Dynamic transitions between third-person action and segments that feel like classic shooters keep every battle unpredictable. With each victory, that sense of power grows, but it's always accompanied by strange questions about what's really going on. Exploration reveals breathtaking landscapes, like cities swallowed by sand, forests consuming skyscrapers, and abandoned factories with endless corridors. Every location feels like it has a silent story, reinforced by encounters with peaceful machines or unexpected events that break the tension. Finding secret paths or hidden items makes it feel like this world holds far more than it shows at first glance. The game sparks reflection without ever slowing down the action. Between thrilling battles and mysterious discoveries, it creates moments that stick in your memory. Every step in this empty planet carries both danger and meaning, making the journey unforgettable. Jusant begins in silence. Just you, a rope, and a colossal tower that seems to touch the sky. There are no enemies, no gunfights, just the feeling of solitude and challenge as every stone wall tells its own story. Climbing demands focus, patience, and rhythm, and the world around you reveals itself in small hints of what once happened there. Every meter conquered feels like a true achievement. Gameplay turns climbing into something thrilling. Every hook, jump, and rope placement carries tension because one mistake could send you falling. The wind howls, dust rises, and the sense of height feels real, making your heart race during the most dangerous sections. The game hooks you with its silence and the calm before each daring move. The scenery shifts as you ascend, revealing abandoned biomes and ruins filled with mystery. Small traces of life, forgotten objects, and markings on walls tell silent stories of those who came before. This connection to the environment makes each new area feel like an emotional discovery, even without a single word spoken. Jusant is a journey that makes you feel every accomplishment. The silence, the vast visuals, and the physical challenge of climbing create a gripping experience from start to finish. It's the kind of game that makes you take a deep breath at every new checkpoint, feeling like you've been part of something bigger. Evil West bursts onto the screen with a unique mix of Western grit and supernatural horror. Dusty towns and lonely trails are overrun by grotesque monsters, turning every shootout into a brutal spectacle. The tension never lets up, and the feeling of the hunt grows with each ambush. You never know if the next door hides gold or a nightmare. Combat is the real showstopper, mixing heavy firearms with devastating melee attacks. Pistols, shotguns, and electric whips create a deadly rhythm that makes every fight memorable. Giant bosses appear out of nowhere, forcing constant movement and creative strategies to bring these hellish creatures down. Exploring the levels reveals abandoned mines, forgotten graveyards, and enemy-infested halls. The game rewards curiosity, hiding upgrades and secrets in every dark corner. The atmosphere blends dust, blood, and shadow, making every step feel like it could be your last. Evil West grabs you with raw action and intensity. Every victory feels like surviving the impossible. Between gunfire and monsters screaming in the dark, it's easy to lose track of time as you fight to clear each area. Days Gone opens with empty roads and dense forests, where silence is never a sign of safety. The Oregon wilderness is breathtaking, but carries a constant sense of abandonment and danger. Collapsed bridges, burned-out cars, and ghost towns tell the story of a world that fell apart. Every turn in the road could hold a surprise, a raider ambush, or a horde of infected flooding the screen like a living wave. The feeling of being alone in a hostile land never leaves, and every sunset feels like a warning. Your bike becomes an extension of your survival, and keeping it in shape is almost as important as fighting. Hunting for fuel, repairing parts, and planning routes turn every trip into a challenge. Combat mixes stealth with intense action because going head-on is almost always suicide. Molotovs, traps, and silent weapons are as vital as a loaded shotgun. The sound of a horde chasing you will make your heart race for real. Exploring this world reveals small stories that make everything feel human and tragic. Hastily written notes, ransacked homes, and abandoned camps show the desperation of those who tried to survive. Rain turns trails into mud, and fog can swallow entire forests, making any trip tense. Lighting a campfire and hearing only the wind feels like a rare moment of relief. Days Gone pulls you in with its constant sense of urgency and the weight of every choice on the road. Deciding whether to face or avoid a horde completely changes your journey. Surviving a stormy night and escaping a wild chase creates moments that stick in your memory. It's the kind of game that makes every mile feel earned. Returnal begins with a violent crash on an unknown planet, where the silence only hides danger. Alien forests, red deserts, and enigmatic ruins create a constant sense of isolation. The world feels alive and hostile, watching every move, and the certainty that death is always lurking makes each step tense. Exploring these surreal landscapes feels like walking through a nightmare that never stops changing. Combat is fast and brutal, demanding sharp reflexes and instant decisions. Futuristic weapons, precise dodges, and chaotic bullet patterns turn every encounter into a survival test. Colossal bosses appear out of nowhere, and defeating them is always a mix of relief and euphoria. The cycle of death and rebirth adds immense psychological pressure, because every failure means starting over. Exploration reveals fragments of an enigmatic story told through lost recordings and mysterious symbols. Each new room can hide either rewards or deadly traps. Learning the layout, mastering enemies, and pushing further with every run becomes addictive. With every attempt, the feeling of uncovering something forbidden grows. Returnal hooks you because every victory feels earned through sweat. Surviving a tough area or beating a boss without dying delivers that rare adrenaline rush. It's the kind of game that dares you to keep going even after failing, because each new run feels like the one where you'll finally break the cycle. Scarlet Nexus begins in a futuristic city where bizarre creatures known as Others descend from the sky to devour human brains. The world mixes advanced technology with dreamlike, distorted environments, creating a unique atmosphere. Right from the start, the sense of urgency is total because the city is under constant attack and no one seems completely safe. Combat is electric and full of style. Using psychic powers to hurl cars, signs, and objects at enemies turns every fight into a spectacle. Switching between fast physical attacks and telekinetic powers creates a constant sense of flow. Facing giant bosses that move unpredictably demands creativity and quick reflexes. Exploring the world of Scarlet Nexus reveals not just battles, but a story that unfolds in layers. The conspiracy behind the Others' attacks and the government's secrets make everything even more intriguing. Each mission brings a new piece of the puzzle, and the environments range from neon-filled cities to isolated, sinister zones. Scarlet Nexus is addictive because every battle feels like a show, and every revelation makes you more curious. The game makes you feel like you're inside an interactive action anime with explosive powers and surreal enemies. It's impossible not to want to face just one more fight before turning it off. Assassin's Creed Shadows takes the franchise to feudal Japan in a period of intrigue, honor, and danger in every shadow. Walled cities, humble villages, and towering castles spread across a vibrant living map. The contrast between serene temples and tense, narrow alleys creates a unique blend of suspense and beauty. The gameplay masterfully mixes stealth and direct combat. Hiding on rooftops, throwing silent shurikens, and striking unseen gives a sense of absolute power. But when confrontation is inevitable, swords and spears come into play in fast, brutal battles. Choosing between being an invisible ghost or an unstoppable warrior changes every approach. Exploring this living Japan means crossing rice fields, bamboo forests, and cities in full expansion. Dynamic events, side missions, and secrets scattered across the map create the feeling that there's always something worth discovering. Each location carries its own stories, from cautious merchants to rival clans plotting in the shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows captures the essence of an era full of tension and beauty. Feeling the wind on the mountains, running across rooftops under the moon, and eliminating targets in silence makes every mission feel cinematic. It's the kind of game that turns every step into an epic story. Alan Wake 2 begins with suffocating darkness and the feeling that something is terribly wrong. The small town of Bright Falls is surrounded by dense forests and icy lakes, and every shadow seems to hide something. The story blends psychological horror with detective suspense, making you question what's real with every new clue. The atmosphere is heavy, and even the wind in the trees feels threatening. The gameplay balances investigation and survival, with light as your primary weapon against the darkness. Flashlights, spotlights, and any source of light are essential to clear a path against enemies that feel like they've crawled out of nightmares. Ammo is scarce, and every encounter demands total focus. It's the kind of game that makes you look over your shoulder even when you know you're alone. As you progress, the mystery only deepens. Clues found in notebooks, recordings, and echoes of the past slowly piece together a darker and darker story. The fear doesn't come from cheap jump scares, but from the constant sense of vulnerability. Even quiet moments carry tension, as if something is always about to happen. Alan Wake 2 grips you by turning every step into a test of courage. The mix of psychological horror, engaging narrative, and tense gameplay creates total immersion. It's impossible to play without your heart racing and the curiosity to uncover what lies in the next patch of darkness. Lies of P throws you into a decaying city, lit only by lanterns and filled with foggy, narrow streets. The oppressive atmosphere makes every corner feel like a potential ambush. Inspired by classic tales, the game twists a children's story into something dark and mature, where innocence and brutality walk hand in hand. Combat is intense and demands precision. Swords, saws, and improvised weapons clash against automatons and grotesque creatures in battles that punish every mistake. The dodge and parry system makes every duel tense, and every victory feels like a real achievement. It's the kind of game that makes you learn through pain, but rewards you when you get it right. Exploring the city reveals secret alleys, ruined buildings, and clues about what caused so much destruction. Small details like locked doors or distant voices reinforce the sense of mystery. Each new area brings greater dangers and demands total attention to avoid being caught off guard. Lies of P wins you over through its mix of challenge and atmosphere. The dark world, paired with the sense that any encounter could be your last, creates constant tension. It's the kind of game that makes you advance slowly, but always wanting to see what lies ahead. The Callisto Protocol begins like a nightmare wrapped in silence. A maximum security prison on Callisto, one of Jupiter's moons, becomes a labyrinth of horror. Metallic corridors echo with lonely footsteps, and every door you open could reveal something you're not ready to see. The sense of isolation is suffocating, and the fear grows with every flicker of the lights. Here, survival isn't just a goal, it's a fight against despair. The gameplay combines brutality with constant tension. Melee combat feels heavy, every hit carries impact, and facing mutant creatures up close amplifies the panic. Firearms exist, but ammo is scarce, making you think twice before firing a single bullet. The game wants every encounter to feel like a fight for your life, not just another battle. Exploring the prison is a descent into growing horror. Mutilated bodies, broken machinery, and messages from those who tried to escape tell grim stories. With each new sector, the darkness feels more alive, and the distant sounds never let you relax. Secrets scattered through the complex reveal what caused this nightmare, but every discovery comes with more fear. The Callisto Protocol hooks you because it's not just about fighting monsters. It's about facing your own fear. Every corridor feels endless. Every shadow feels like a threat. And just when you finally take a breath, the game finds a new way to terrify you. It's the kind of horror that sticks in your memory and keeps you awake at night. So which of these third-person games are you running to play first? Drop a comment with your favorite and tell us which one you think was missing from this list. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any amazing game tips. And if you enjoyed this video, click the one on your screen now for more adventures that will hook you from start to finish.